everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Omnichannel Marketer. This is your host, Kate Stevens, and today I'm joined by a very special guest and friend, Adam Bremen, the founder of CanDo Keto Crisps. Adam, can you tell us, a little bit more about your story and kind of the story behind the brand? Because, it's a really, I think, important and impactful one.
Well, Kate, thanks a lot for having me on the show. I love coming on. And number one, hearing about you, and I'll never forget when we met at Expo West. You came by the booth and you had incredible energy and you had a beautiful necklace on and an incredible smile and a necklace with an H. And that H was for Little Harper, and you gave birth to Little Harper. And our whole premise, and I'll get into the brand, is about can do, because life is about what we can do, not what we can't, and everybody has a can-do story. And certainly I asked you what your can-do story is, and you broke into a beautiful story about your baby girl, and I love the power of can-do, because everybody has a can-do story, and we're here at can-do to amplify those stories. And oh, by the way, we make great tasting snack bars currently and other foods down the road. The bar company started around 2018, came to help my brother rehab from a major injury. He's doing great now, but he was so badly deconditioned, we weren't able to go out to dinner. So a good friend of ours, Gabe, happens to be a personal chef. So Gabe came over to our house a couple nights a week so that we could experience a home cooked meal. At that time, I was 80 pounds overweight and hated how I looked or how I felt. So Gabe and I started working in the pool, and I was doing some incredible things like walking on my own, swimming on my own, just feeling better about myself. And I said, Gabe, what do we really need to do to step it up? He's like, Adam, you got to change your diet. I said, okay, what do we need to do? He's like, Adam, you got to drop carbs and sugars. So immediately, Kate, for 2.5 years, I was completely strict with my diet, eliminating carbs and sugars. During that transition, the weight just kept coming off. And I kept looking at Google, looking at menu ideas, and what I was eating and putting into my body and taking out was really based along the keto diet, low carb, low sugar, higher in fat diet. And, because of my passion for people and love for life and the uniqueness that I sit being in the power chair, I really wanted a way to cheer for others. And I thought that what better way to do that through my diet and through my exercise story, through my transition, or what we like to say, journey these days, just to better myself and to really better other people and give a platform of inspiration, empowerment, and just better living through food, through life, whatever you can do. I've had the unique opportunity of sitting through life in a chair, and people may say, oh man, that's terrible, that's tough luck. But I'm so grateful to be able to have the ability that I have. And I just want to share the joy for life and love and people everywhere I go.
Well, I will say you do have the ability to just like touch people. I, also remember our meeting at Expo West where, made me cry because you touched, my soul. And I was making sure I didn't start crying at the beginning of this podcast too. You have the ability to really connect with people when you don't even know them. How do you think about that as you're building your brand and, as part of your brand? Because I think that is a really special aspect of your product is like the brand story and the mission that you have.
Yeah, great question. It really becomes natural to me because I'm so incredibly grateful for the people in my life, because without people, I wouldn't be able to get in my chair. I wouldn't be able to go out. I wouldn't be able to experience life. So I'm so grateful given my 40, I'm 48 now. We started the brand 3 years ago, for everyone that's taken their time to give me an opportunity to be me. So every time I ask somebody what their can do moment is, it's because, Kate, I really give a damn about people. Like it becomes second nature to me because I'm so curious, I'm so caring, I'm so loving, I'm so dedicated, so loyal. I just always put myself in the position do unto others as you would want them to do to you. Very, very simple, but so powerful. And I just, because of the uniqueness position of where I sit in the chair, people are open to talking to me. And they're like, wow, Adam sees life in a different lens. So, I want to learn more. And I always knew that I was put in this position for a reason. And I always just embraced it because I can't control, being in a chair. Yes, from a tactical standpoint, would it be easier if I could walk? Absolutely. But this is who I am. I can't change that, but I can decide how I want to look at it, the attitude that I have, and just my passion for people is through the roof. That's what it's all about. And I always look at it as related to a food company. And yes, we are a food company. I would say, would my mom enjoy this product, or would my sister enjoy this product? Because my reputation is on the line. I don't want to let people down. And I know that taste is subjective and it's kind of a long-winded answer, but I pride myself on doing good by people.
Mm-hmm. And so obviously, good product is table stakes. I think your brand mission is there. It's so apparent. How did you think about that, when you first launched the brand? What channel did you launch in, and what did that channel serve as for you?
Great. I love to tell this story because this is about hustle and determination. And really, you can talk all day long about can do, and everybody's got a can do. And I always say, cheer for people, and people will cheer for you. But if you don't back it up, then it's all for naught. So I remember, my brothers had 30 years experience in the CPG space representing brands at Walmart. And, so he's passionate about the space. And I always had a goal and a vision to work with my brother in some capacity. And so when we started the brand, we sat down with a food scientist and we said, we want two chocolate-esque flavors and one vanilla or an almond type flavor. And literally we ran a small run kind of as a passion project just to see how we would do. And I would stay up at night and even during the day and kind of plan out my route of where I was going to go and what retailers that I would talk to in Southern California. Even Kate, before we had product, I would go into Earth Bar in Brentwood and all the little Earth Bar stores and just introduce myself to employees. And I did that same kind of strategy with Air One. Again, on the simple premise that I just want to know people. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. I want to understand what they're doing, how they're feeling, where they're going, what they feel like, what is their story, how can I help? Because I really, really care about people, and that shows. And then when the bars became available, I said, to the folks at Earth Bar, I'm coming with these bars, would give them a chance. And everybody's like, of course, because they love me and I love them. And oh, by the way, our bars taste great. So I used that formula to go to every store. We started at Earth Bar. We did demos there, and then we built out a little plan, and then we went to Air One. And for I don't know if you're familiar, listeners are familiar with that grocery store, and we just kept building the strategy, really, just flat out hustling, and just yeah.
I mean, I equate with kind of the hustle. I think that that's actually the context in which we literally met. I was, hustling, going booth to booth, trying to meet brands. So I applaud your effort there doing, doing the same to grow your business. What does, distribution look like for the company now? And, how do you think about your brand and your story coming to life, especially in these retail channels where you have less ability to tell that brand story?
Yeah, I mean, we started, we threw it up on our website, www.tastecando, and then we threw it up on Amazon. And, we dipped our toe in the water at Earth Bar and then Air One. And then we just went right down the hierarchy of grocery stores to Whole Foods, Sprouts, all the natural grocery stores. And then now we're getting into conventional stores, i.e., your big box retailers like, Albertsons, Safeway, and those kinds of things. But every step along the way, you're building out a data story, right? Because if the product doesn't sell, then as good as my story is, you're not going to add. You want to add what's in it for the retailer, right? Or what's in it for your customer. It isn't about me. It's about how can I help the customers. And I
Hmm.
always say this, Kate. I say we're a customer service business first, a food business, bar business, whatever you want to call it second. It's all about people. And I wear my heart on my sleeve and I tell it like it is. And here's where we go. But I can tell you by doing right by people and putting your customers, your audience ahead of everything else, all the business that growth that you will want and ever need will be there if you take care of the customer.
Yep. And do you think about the customer as your end consumer or the retailer?
Both. They're all people that rely on me, that rely on us. I hate the word to use me. It's us. Rely on us to provide them product, customers, end users, retailers, whatever. Wherever our brand, we always need to put our best foot forward. It's not always going to happen that way. Believe me, this business is not easy. It's not easy, but you want to be transparent, you want to be honest, you want to be forthcoming, and you want to hit challenges head on. You don't want to hide behind a wall or a screen.
Makes complete sense. So, we were talking before we started recording about, things that have gone well and then also, things that haven't gone as well, maybe failures. Could you, speak to some of those stories and, what you could potentially share with our listeners as learnings?
Sure, I would definitely say that you have to have a plan. You have to have a strategy, and you may not have all the answers, and that's okay. And I think that one of the greatest strengths is being vulnerable, and reaching out to people and say, hey, listen, what do we need to do here? Here's where we're at. What tools, what levers can we pull? How can we really work with our retail partners to really grow the business and not to be just a transaction? It's we're in it for the long haul. Maybe a store may only take two or three flavors at the time, and when you really want them to take more, you got to understand. Okay, right now we've got two flavors. How can we make this work? And again, it's all about the customer and the customer experience. The challenges I would say is, we've had the great success. We have, a great tasting product, and the biggest challenge for us is being in stock, and
Mm,
sure the supply chain is what it is. And in today's age, we are a remote business, not by choice, by circumstance. So it is challenging, in my opinion, to run a business remotely and not seeing people face to face. And you just and you want to look at every opportunity as a way to build a relationship, and it's not always going to go great. You really want to be one with your distributors and your retail partners and really work as a team. And not the biggest challenge is that to be united with those partners. And sometimes it can be challenging. But the way to minimize the challenges is preparation. Because if you're not preparing, you're not winning. Preparation is the key to success.
my dad used to say prior preparation prevents poor performance.
That's right. The,
So,
the three P's.
mm-hmm.
Right.
And so, what do you do if stockouts are your problem? So, is it planning? How do you prepare for and mitigate against that in the future?
It's really, working with our sales forecast team to make sure the forecasts are right. Looking at the data and really planning. And obviously it takes resources, right? Capital raise, money. Money. You've got to invest in your brand. You've got to look at it from a big picture standpoint always,
Yeah.
because it's like your kids, right? You're investing in your kids. You put clothes on them, you feed them. It's not going to happen overnight. You nurture them, you grow them, you give them love. It's like planting a garden out there, and you got to water it every day. You got to rake the dirt or whatever you got to do. You've got to invest sweat equity, right? It's not just it is there's capital involved, obviously, and that speaks for itself. But then there's just sweat equity. You gotta grind, you gotta hustle. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I use a lot of people. it goes back to that adage, you got to ask questions, you got to raise your hand. If you would have told me, Kate, you would have said, Adam, you're going to be in the bar business and building a brand 4 years ago, I would have told you you're crazy. But the wonderful thing and the beauty of it is all of the people that we've met and touched, and those people that met and touched us, it's really been an amazing, incredible, positive experience, you know.
That's really incredible. I'm so happy to hear that. And which leads me into my next question. So, as a omni-channel brand, you're selling on your website, you're selling on Amazon, you're selling across multiple different types of retailers, whether, it's smaller, kind of more convenience or, larger retailers. How do you think about a consistent and consumer experience across all of those channels?
Kind of like what I said before, just reiterating the customer experience, making sure that communication is key, making sure that forecasting is up to date, making sure that we're listening, right, instead of just talking. You got to understand the market. What's the best way to reach our customers? What are our customers saying? I'll never forget this. When we started the brand, I constantly do demos, and that's basically my greatest gift is being out in front of customers. And I remember when we started with just three flavors, the chocolate mint, chocolate raspberry, and almond butter, and everybody would say, Adam, I love your bars, but I have a plant-based diet. And so we worked extremely hard quickly to come up with a solve for. And we've created four additional plant-based bars. And I just think being a proactive listener and being curious, and obviously always evaluating your team, making sure that you have the right people in the right spots, being able to help you, and asking questions, be vulnerable. Say, hey, listen, here's what we're doing here. How much should we be spending to support our brand? What are the tools we need to use to be as efficient as we can? And what are the pros and cons of every scenario, right? And just kind of
Mm-hmm.
think it through, and I think with the customer in mind, always, 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 always. That's why you talk about, some of my favorite brands to work with. I absolutely love, obviously, Amazon, because they make it so easy to
Mm-hmm.
buy. You can buy with confidence. It comes to your doorstep in 2 days. If you don't like it, you can return it. As simple as that. And then Apple, of course, they make everybody look incredibly intelligent. You just
Ah,
push a button, and it's all about empowerment, right? We feel so empowered with our iPhone because we can just boom and do all these easy things, and that
mm-hmm.
it's those two brands come to mind. Something that we strive for at CanDo.
Yeah, I think that that's an amazing example, and I totally feel the power of both of those examples. So one thing that I like to ask all of our guests is, about a topic that they're passionate about, and may or may not be controversial, but you're obviously a very passionate person. What are the things that you feel most passionately about?
Each and every person that I encounter, people is what I feel most powered about, and making sure that people have the resources to put a smile on their face. Because when you're smiling, you're doing better. When you're doing better, you can give more of yourself. And when you're giving more of yourself and taking a step out of what's in it for me and flip the script and what's in it for them or you, that's a better feeling, right? And it's a win-win for
Mm-hmm.
everybody. So I'm incredibly passionate about looking at things, seeing how we can make it better. How can we improve? Why
Mm-hmm.
do things need to be difficult? If there's A, B, or C, and A, B is going to be better, let's go with A, or whatever the case. So I'm really passionate about understanding people. My whole life, Kate, I say this: my brothers, my heart; my sisters, my soul. And growing up, I always just cheered for my brother because I couldn't play sports physically, but I absolutely loved cheering for him and watching him succeed. That gave me so much joy, even to this day. I mean, I'm on this call right now thinking about what my brother and sister are doing and how that they're getting their dreams fulfilled, and just supporting others. I think this is my biggest passion, and being curious. I'd love to know, and not because I'm nosy and I want to be rude. I give a damn.
Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think when people aren't doing that right? Like, what are they missing? Like, you obviously that comes very naturally to you. Like, what are they missing?
I think that's a great. I think people are so caught up in like how people will think about themselves or what people will think that they're. You have to be able to be at peace with yourself. Even everybody's got problems. We all got challenges. We all got skeletons. We all got shtick we deal with, right? And you just got to be able to have enough confidence in yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to, ask this person, how's their day? Or I encourage everyone to ask everybody what their biggest can-do moment is. What are they most proud about? When I asked you, you said your little girl and your dad, who was a great inspiration to you and taught you so much. And that's what I'm passionate about is understanding people's can-do because somebody understood my can do. My parents knew that I was special, not because I have cerebral palsy and not because I have a wheelchair, but because of my heart. And that's what I'm passionate about, is finding out what's in your heart, what makes you happy. Because as excited as you are to share, I'm 10 times more excited to listen.
Yeah. That's you do have an absolute gift, Adam. There's literally no denying that. So yes, you've touched my heart at least 3 times now. So
Well, I
I
got
agree. If you're just listening, my eyes are tearing. And you can't see me visually, but that is what is happening right now. I agree. So
you.
yeah.
And I'm just, I'm honored to be able to speak and to share. And I want everybody to have that platform. It's just really, really incredible. The power of communication, the power of connectivity, the power of being curious.
Yeah.
Think about the people that have come before us and laid incredible groundwork and shaped who we are. And, just do it with love and a smile. And I know not every day is going to be peachy and you're not going to wake up with a great attitude. I'm a realist, but I always say if you have 5 to 6 days that are good, you're doing okay. But in the tough times, you got to give yourself a minute, a pat on the back, and understand. And believe me, I'm my toughest critic. So when we're done with this call, I'm going to say, Adam, why didn't you cover this? You didn't say this exactly, but it's okay. Yeah.
Well, and I'm just like reflecting on what you're saying, and there's so many elements of just like listening to people and kind of leading with like caring about them that applies to every aspect of your business. Like knowing you, I know that you've built a incredible culture among your team. And so if you care about your team and you're, being genuinely interested in their success, like you said, they're going to be happier and thus bringing more to your business. And similar with your customers, like listening to the consumer, what their feedback is, if you actually listen to them, care about them, that's going to be incorporated into like making your product better. So I like fully believe and assign to that is like it is a good for business to care about people. And I actually fundamentally disagree with anyone who like thinks that that's not good for business. I just like think that that's not how you build a business. So,
Not how you build it at all, because ultimately they're the ones that are writing our checks, right? They're the ones
yep.
that are going to help grow the business. Like if you're a jerk, by the way, I have no patience for assholes. So we don't do business with assholes, and I apologize for people that are assholes. And those people are gifts too because they teach us that's not the path that we want to go. And I would love to talk to people that are, difficult because I think everybody has a gift. Everyone.
Yeah, agree. So, Adam, we're going to transition now into our lightning round. So, what is your favorite omni-channel brand?
My favorite omni-channel brand, I'd have to say, is Apple.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a toss up between them and there are a lot of brands that I love. Obviously, Amazon, and they're not the traditional omni. Are you talking like CPG brands,
No, you can
whatever?
answer it however you want. Apple is a very good answer.
Yes, I just think their ability to empower people. with technology is terrific. Just their overall commitment to the customer, especially in the beginning. They've done some things recently that I'm not particularly a fan of, but it is what it is. They got to run the business. Ultimately, Amazon's great. I listen to podcasts. I need to listen to more podcasts, to be honest, but I'm very busy in the schedule. And
What is your favorite podcast? That's actually one of our questions.
my favorite podcasts, I'm a big sports fan, so I listen to all the NBA, bunch of NBA basketball podcasts, and there's not one in particular that I listen to on a regular. My favorite kind of interaction is when I actually do demos and I'm out just meeting people at the store level, or I just got invited. We just got invited to a Sprouts Con thing.
Cool.
I'm gonna speak in front of 3,000 people. So I just and it's great because I allow them to have a platform to share their can-do story. And my goal is to make sure that one person comes away, with a smile and can really share that can-do mission with others. And oh, by the way, we make great tasting products. And I know that taste is subjective. That's why we just drive trial all day long and invite people
Mm-hmm.
to try it. And if they like it, that's great. If not, that's great too, because I had a chance to understand. We had a chance to understand that can-do story.
What is your favorite newsletter, if you read any?
I'm a little biased. There's a couple of them. My brother owns a marketing slash agency that helps brands sell more on Amazon called Vendo, and they
Hmm.
put out a newsletter monthly that talks about what brands are doing, what they're seeing in the industry. And then we also partner with an organization called Presence Marketing, and they put out a newsletter about brands and retailers in the industry. So I do read those.
Do you have a favorite social media channel?
You know what? I like them all. I think I'm leaning towards TikTok because I have a very short attention span. And
Ugh,
TikTok is,
scroll.
yes, just scroll. But social media is good in a way because it connects you to people. But I also think sometimes myself included, we spend too much time on those platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But brands, they'll never not have those because they're a way to get the story out. So there's a fine line there. I'm a fan of it, yes, but I also understand the challenges that lie ahead, especially for young people when
Yeah,
they see these people creating these elaborate stories that is not necessarily reality all the time. So
completely.
it does concern me at some level because we do spend so much time on our phone.
Do you have a favorite book?
It's a kid's book, actually. It's called The Giving Tree. I don't know if you've heard of that book. I remember my mom and dad reading it over and over and over again. I also like the various books about Amazon. I love to read about Amazon. I've read, the book about Cliff Bar,
Mm-hmm.
their journey, and, how they partnered and how they got going. I'm curious about a lot of things.
Yeah. And so you mentioned the Sprouts Con event, but any other events that you're excited about attending this year?
The trade shows are really fun. They have a UNFI show, and UNFI is one of the largest distributors in the country, and is a great retail partner for us, along with KE is another distributor that we use, and often all CPG brands use these two distributors. So there's a trade show there, and then Expo East will be exciting, and then our Super Bowl, and where you and I met is Expo West, and that will be in March, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just really, really cool to see all these brands that bust their butt and have done a great job. And really, I always cheer for every single brand, even our direct competitors, because I do believe that there's enough room on the wheel to ride. We just, want to ride it and be part of something so special. And, can't thank our customers enough for trusting us. They have so many different food options that they can choose, and they took a chance on Can Do Crisp, and just so grateful for all of that. So
Amazing. So, Adam, where can our listeners connect with you?
certainly they can connect with me on social media. On Instagram, I'm Adam Bremen, ADAMBREMEN. They can certainly drop me an email at adam@tastecando. That's TASTECANDO. And I would like to share a discount code if they would like to use it and try the bars. I'd be honored. You certainly don't have to try them. You can certainly pick them up at any local retailer. Whole Foods, Sprouts, Fresh Market, just to name a few, Albertsons, Safeway. But code is Adam Can Do, ADAMCANDO, for 25% off. But again, just so thankful for the time, and I'll never forget our interaction and our relationship and the incredible write-up that you shared with your audience and my audience on LinkedIn. I mean, I'll never forget. It was a Sunday, I think, posted, or maybe a Saturday, and
Yeah.
I called you, and I just, it was just great, and that's why we do the business that we do. Yes, bars are important, and yes, our food tastes great, and yes, all those things. And I want the brand to be as big as it's going to be, not because of the monetary situation, but because of the relationships that you build, and that's what it's all about for me. And again, being able to hear and to cheer for others is my greatest gift, and the thing that I get most excited about.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Adam, it was so amazing telling your story. You've touched my heart several times now, and I've just so enjoyed getting to know you as a friend. Thank you for, sharing your story, and, really enjoyed our conversation.
No problem. Thanks so much for having me on today, and I look forward to many, many more visits and chats. And I love your smile, and I can't wait to give you a hug in person again. We'll talk
Thanks,
to you.
Adam.
Thanks.
If you liked this podcast, follow me and the Bridge page on LinkedIn and Twitter for hot takes and tactical advice. If you really loved today's episode, we'd love a review on the podcasting platform of your choice, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Thanks for listening.